Hey guys, welcome to the Nice Guys Show. My name's Chuck Chapman, and today we're going to do things a little bit differently. We're doing a series on just kind of you guys getting to know us as coaches. Oftentimes we're telling you and we're about advice and things that you should be doing better and how you should heal from the nice guy syndrome. But the truth is, like, we don't have it all together. In fact, I struggle quite a bit. And so I want to just kind of lay out for you guys some stuff that's going on in my life, some of the things I struggle with, and just get feedback from Ari and Faisal, who are my co-hosts today. So I want to talk about being a husband, and that it's really difficult, and especially having a couple marriages under my belt and being in a relationship now with somebody who has kids of their own and adult kids. And one of the things that's been going on in my marriage for quite a while that's causing a lot of distress is I have a stepson who struggles with a meth addiction. And this has been going on for about the last 6 years, where he's been in rehab, out of rehab, relapsed. Currently we don't even really know a lot that's going on with him. We know he's alive because, we hadn't heard from him for 3 weeks, and he just checked in with his mom via text saying that he was alive. But he's homeless someplace, I think, in San Francisco, and using meth. And it's causing a lot of distress on my wife. She's grieving a lot. And as a result of that, my husbanding gets put to the test. Because, to be honest, I didn't really sign up for this. I signed up to be with a beautiful woman who's going to have sex with me all the time, and that was going to make my food and do everything that I wanted. And now I've got this relationship that I'm having to hold her grief consistently. And for example, yesterday we were in the grocery store and we're walking down the aisle, and she sees a turkey, which reminded her of Thanksgiving, which reminded her of her son who, is he going to have a Thanksgiving? He's probably not going to be with us, all those kind of things. And she just broke down in the middle of the store. And I had to hold her, I had to hold space for her. And that's just kind of a small glimpse into things that happen as a husband of someone who has a son. And because he's my stepson, and because he was older and I never really have had a lot of bonding with him, it's difficult for me to have a lot of empathy for him. Also, because I'm a recovering alcoholic myself, I think there's my own judgments around, things that he should be doing. But the truth of the matter is that sometimes I really struggle with having to always be the strong one in the relationship. So I just wanted to throw that out there for you guys. If you got any questions or comments or anything, I'd love to talk about it.
Yeah, that's every parent's nightmare.
Yeah,
I think, is to have your child just kind of hopelessly caught up in drugs or some kind of lifestyle that is very dangerous and unpredictable and such a roller coaster. That isn't easy to be on someone's roller coaster. You're on the roller coaster with them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and every day is kind of a roller coaster. And, my wife's a very extroverted, effervescent, very much a type 2 on the Enneagram, very, very loving. And so to see her kind of essentially being depressed right now and feeling hopeless, that's really hard. And just to, throw a layer in there, my first wife, she struggled with clinical depression almost our entire marriage. And so there's also this triggering part in me that's like, okay, are we gonna, am I going backwards? Am I gonna be, that sucked being with somebody who was depressed all the time. And I don't think that's my wife. I think she's going through some situational depression, but still that also kind of comes up for me of wanting to, if this is me for the next, 20 years or something like that, I don't want that.
When you said, I didn't sign up for this, that really, that really resonated. I was like, I had the challenges I'm having with my kids as well. And the thought is, hey, I didn't sign up for this. This wasn't in the dream or the concept I had of, having kids, or for you, like having a marriage. Didn't sign up for this. So, Chuck, how do you actually, what are the feelings that you get when you're experiencing right now?
Yeah. Part of it is I'm feeling different this go around because this has been multiple times, and generally, usually I feel really angry. I feel pretty pissed off that someone's treating my wife this way, and I've actually had some altercations with my stepson, where he treats his mom like shit, and I'm like, to you, she's your mom, but to me, she's my wife. And so when somebody's treating my wife like shit, like you're gonna hear about it. So stop treating my wife like shit is essentially kind of the things I've said to him, in probably less than loving ways, but it's come out of my own frustration and fear. And this time around, I'm feeling really sad. I'm feeling like sad and hopeless. Like every time he's, especially in the beginning, it was like, okay, well, go to rehab, get your shit figured out, start going to meetings, get sober, stay sober. And then, like I said, this has been, I haven't counted, but if I were to do a guesstimate, I'm saying probably in the last 6 years since this has been going on, he's probably been in rehab detox on average twice a year, sometimes more. We've set him up with, sober living. He's lived with us, everything that we could think of. And, my wife's probably spent well over $100,000 on getting treatment for him. And to her credit, she's handling this right now really well in terms of, her impulse is to like drive down to San Francisco and find him and bring him back up here. But she also knows that will just start the cycle all over again. He'll be fine for a couple of weeks. And then, so she's in therapy. She's going to Al-Anon. So I'm really, really proud of the work that she's doing, but I'm really sad for her. And I'm really sad for just having to like hold her sadness. And I feel like I've been doing a good job at it, in terms of holding it. But I also know that this is something that is really exhausting after a while, of just having to be the one who's kind of holding space where you're like, I just want to I just want a blowjob.
Is it because of sometimes because of guilt that you feel like you have to hold that space, or are you feeling sad because I give up?
I'm not feeling like I give up, but I am feeling like it's not fun. The relationship is hard right now, and we definitely have great times and a lot of fun times together and that kind of thing. But I think like right now, and we're going into fall, which means it's starting to get dark and cold and those kind of things, which also I think is very seasonal. We're coming up on the holidays, and his birthday's in October, so we've got holidays, his birthday, Christmas, all those kind of things. And in the past 6 years, every one of those things has been tainted with some kind of, him acting out in some way and basically kind of ruining the day. And this time it's kind of like he's going to ruin it without even being here, just his lack of presence. So, like I said, my wife's doing really well, all things considered. I'm proud of her. But, some days are better than others. And I think that just, talking about what's going on in my life right now, this is what's going on, of having to hold space for her in this uncertainty, because I never know, like from moment to moment. One moment she's fine, and then the next moment she's, grieving. And that I know as a clinician, like that is the process of grief. She's going through the process of grief right now. But as a man, like some days I'm like, just can we not,
Yeah, you want it to stop, right? Maybe does it feel like sometimes it's just it becomes like a one-way relationship? It's like, I'm just there supporting and you're going through a challenge.
No, I've never felt that. I mean, she is really good at, reciprocating things. And, I've gone through challenges with my daughter and she's been there for me. And I kind of have to remember those things as well. I would just say, I'm just saying that it's difficult. And my biggest fear is that I'm going to get tired of holding this and want to, either collapse or run away or something along those lines. I tend to, burn out because I'm holding clients and then I come home and I'm holding her and I'm, which is why it's really important for me to have my own support, which I've built that. But there are days where it's like, it's just really hard.
This is taking a toll on your relationship.
Yeah, it has. And it's also kind of strengthened it in a way. Because there's some trauma bonding going on there, but also,
Oh, gosh.
right. But there's a couple of things. One is the sort of sunken cost fallacy of I've invested so much in this. We've been married 11 years. I'm not giving up now. But then there's also, I think, just the genuine love of wanting her not to suffer. And it's it seems like there's always something. If this thing wasn't there right now, life would be amazing. But there's always this thing, whatever it is, whether it's her kid, my kid, her parents, always something. And also kind of remind myself, as nice guys, we want a problem-free, smooth life. And, I have to not be a nice guy and try to fix things and just hold things. And that's hard.
Yeah. I mean, it must be so difficult because there's so much uncertainty and you don't know what's going to come up, and there's going to be a cycle of something's going to creep up and it's just going to collapse when you feel like it's getting to a good place, and then it's like boom, off the mountain again.
Yeah.
And go on, what kind of stuff are you doing to manage yourself in that? You have to manage obviously the clients and her.
Right.
What is Chuck doing for himself?
Great question. Thanks. Couple of things. So first I want to kind of go back to the cycle piece of it. So 4 weeks ago, he was in detox again, and they had set him up with a rehab to go out of the detox. And he was on his way from detox to the program. And he had texted his mom and said, I've got some great news. I'm going to this program, blah, blah, blah. She texted him back, and then it was just silence. For 3 weeks, we hadn't heard from him, which is an indication that, obviously he didn't make it to the program. He's back on the streets, all that kind of stuff. And so there's this uncertainty, and we're kind of okay, here we go again. And she goes through the anger stage. And then there's oh my gosh, we haven't heard from him for 2 weeks. And now it's been 3 weeks. And, her thinking about is he dead? And she goes to places what song are we going to play at his funeral? And, just deep, deep sorrow. And then she hears from him, get a text message from him, I think on Friday or something like that. And it's this message of just a lot of his own shame around this addiction and, not feeling like a good son and feeling like, he's, just can't seem to get his shit together and all that kind of stuff. And then she texts him back, and then she doesn't hear from him again. And so she goes from these different stages of grief where she's angry, and then now she's just kind of in this depression stage. But as far as me, what I'm doing to take care of me, I have a support group. I have guys that I've got a couple of guys who are, I'm checking in with, and they're checking in with me. I try to balance out, and do the things that bring me joy. And I know that when I enter into a season like this, it's probably the harder thing for me to do is to start creating more space in my daily, basically maybe not seeing as many clients right now, and kind of putting things because the more people I'm holding, the more intense it gets. And you guys know how that is. So that's me. It's my life right now.
I think that I, sense heaviness in you at times.
Yeah.
And I knew about your wife's son, but I think I hadn't had an update in a while. And I mean,
Yeah.
this alone would weigh on a couple. So it gives me, I think, more context from what I notice in you.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I'm under a little bit more stress, you know.
Do you ever wonder that that's it? I just want to quit everything and that I'm out. You know,
Yeah.
I've done my time. That's it. Now I'm out. I need to self-care, sort myself out because there's a lot going on for me.
Yeah. And I think if she wasn't doing some of the things that she has been doing in terms of like going to therapy and going to Al-Anon and taking care of herself and just doing a lot of good self-care stuff, if she was just steeped in, you know, the sort of codependency that they have, I would be more likely to feel that. But quite honestly, there are days where I'm like, okay, this sucks. I need it. But then I think about the benefit part of it too. She's a wonderful person. She loves my daughter. Her daughter just had a baby, and so I have a grandbaby, and didn't know, some of you guys know about this, but like my daughter is a developmentally disabled, and so it's like I never thought I was going to be a grandfather, and now I've got this grandbaby, and so there's things like that also, like, it's more than just a decision of, I'm going to leave this marriage. It's like all of these things that come along with it, which are beautiful things. I would lose those as well. So there's kind of a balancing act in there. But like I said, I think in times past when she hasn't done well, and maybe that's the difference right now is why I'm feeling sadness and not anger is, she's been working really hard in the last couple of years trying to be less codependent with him and set boundaries. And, she's been working really hard on that. So that may have some reason why I'm feeling this way. But I think if anything, I'm just feeling the sense of sadness and heaviness in this season. And then, gearing up for winter. Winter's never around here in the Northwest, Pacific Northwest is like, it's rainy and cold and snowy and gray skies, for days on end. And just as we're kind of entering into that, I can feel sort of my system starting to feel like, here we go, and got to go back into that winter stage.
Oh, I really hate that stage. Even my kids have been saying, "Can we move somewhere hot and sunny?"
I know.
Because it does. And as you were talking about your challenges, and I could relate to some of like the heaviness of it. And my son's been going through a lot of challenges with his OCD and complex PTSD as well, and it's really heavy. And there's times when you're going, "Oh, I just want it to end. I just want it to just be sorted out, fixed." And when will it be? When will it be? And I noticed that when as dads, a lot of dads and mom, but a lot of dads feel guilty of taking time away just to reset themselves. And, I've spoken to so many dads as well, and they said, well, I need to be there all the time. I need to be providing, protecting, fixing everything. And like now, like today, I've got time to myself and I've got my own cave time, and it's like my own time to reset. And what I find was when I don't get this reset time is that I'm more snappy, more grumpy, more irritable. I feel so depleted and empty. So
you've got your son full time. I mean,
yeah, I've got my son full time. He's with mum right now. So it's like, as a single parent, I'm dealing with the situation constantly, and it's constantly zapping my energy. I'm managing teenagers, like even him, and my son comes over, and it was like the summer holidays. I had them both over, and you're balancing your business, and you're balancing your clients, and you're balancing the teenagers, everything, and yourself, and your own, your own traumas, your fractures. You're dealing with. There's so much you're dealing with. It just becomes like, when will this stop? I need to rest.
Yeah, and I think thanks for the reminder of that. That's probably something that I need to do that I've done in the past, which is I call them just sort of like these refueling stations where, like I've got something that's, planned for me that's just going to be a complete self-care. A lot of times it's like just going away by myself for a weekend. You know, they've done that in the past where like I'll rent a cabin out in the woods kind of thing and just go for an extended weekend by myself and me and my dog and, you know, hang out. And I haven't done that for a while. I need to do like kind of that personal retreat kind of thing. Yeah. So, that and moving someplace sunny would probably make a big difference, you know. It's why I'm looking forward to January when we do the conference.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah.
Chuck, I really commend you. You know, I've known you, you know, for several years, and I really appreciate the value that you brought into my life, the warmth, the love, the connection, the care that you have. And I can really feel the care that you have for, you know, people around you. And, you know, that means a lot. And I really commend you for being a man, you know, going through thick and thin. You're showing up. It's not always easy, but you're showing up.
Yeah. Well, and you've met my wife, so you know that, you know.
Yes, I've met you both when you guys popped to sunny London, you know, or maybe one rain from another rain.
I appreciate how vulnerable and raw you got today and just putting it out there. I imagine this will help people listening too who are going through this, and to hear how solid you've been as a partner and as a man. You know, like I think you're really showing strong leadership here. So thank you.
I feel like the last few years and some of the work I've been doing in terms of like the embodiment practices and the breath work and the really grounding and that kind of stuff has really helped kind of in this moment of creating the solid container that has to hold her chaos sometimes, you know, and her chaos being grief in this particular moment. And I think Faisal, you mentioned something about like the uncertainty of, you know, it's like we're walking through the grocery store and all of a sudden she just, you know, starts bawling, you know, it's like, oh God, here we go, you know, kind of thing. Time to step up. Don't collapse, step up, you know, respond rather than react. And I owe a lot of that to the personal work that I've been doing myself. I think has been really valuable. So just to, you know, guys, if you're struggling with stuff, like get support, figure out how to, you know, better yourself and become stronger, to become bring more masculine energy into your relationships. So thanks guys for listening. And there's a picture and kind of what's going on in my world right now. Just want to thank all of you guys for tuning into the Nice Guy Show. And so next week, I believe I forget which one of us is going next week. I think it's Ari.
One of us is.
One of us is going. One of us is going. Stay tuned. One of us will be opening our hearts to bleed all over the floor.
Yeah. And switching the lights on.
All right, guys. Thanks so much. We'll see you next time.
You've been listening to The Nice Guy Show with certified Nice Guy recovery coaches Ari Graff, Chuck Chapman, and Faisal Khokhar. Be sure to subscribe to this channel so you can listen to our latest episodes and visit us on www.theniceguyshow.com. If you have any topics you'd like to hear us discuss, send us an email at support@theniceguyshow.com. Thanks for listening.